If you are looking for something new and different for the upcoming Compliance Week celebration in November, check out The Compliance Kids. It's my 3-book children's series on compliance and compliance professionals for children. But they make great gifts and great training tools for your employees. You can check it out on Amazon.com. We've linked to it in the show notes. The Compliance Tip of the Day. This is the podcast where we bring you daily insights and practical advice on navigating the ever-evolving landscape of compliance requirements. Whether you're a seasoned compliance professional or just starting your journey, my aim in this podcast is to provide you with a bite-sized, actionable tip to help you stay on top of your compliance game. Join us as we explore the latest trends from the Department of Justice, share some best practices, demystify complex compliance issues to help keep your organization doing business ethically and in compliance, and at the end of the day, more profitably. Tune in daily for your dose of compliance wisdom. Let's make compliance a little less daunting, one tip at a time. Now a word from the sponsor of the Compliance Podcast Network, Ethico.
If you're a compliance officer, middle managers are crucial in getting your programs from you to your frontline employees. But how do we activate those managers and get them on our side? Ethico's new Middle Manager Toolkit equips you with the skills needed to empower your managers, to promote a culture where ethical behavior thrives and employees feel empowered to speak up. Learn how to turn frontline managers into ethical leaders with our new white paper, Empowering Middle Managers as Ethics Champions. And did I mention you can get the whole toolkit for free? Head to ethico.com to download the full toolkit today.
On today's Compliance Tip of the Day, we continue our exploration of the John Deere FCPA enforcement action for lessons for the compliance professional. Today, lessons on post-acquisition integration and investigation in M&A. So, number one, perhaps the most critical start is to establish a post-acquisition integration plan, literally at the start, ready for when you sign on the dotted line for closing. One of the key takeaways is the need for a well-defined post-acquisition integration plan that includes a robust compliance component. All too often, the focus post-acquisition is on operational integrity, with compliance being pushed far down the priority list. However, Deere demonstrates failing to integrate a compliance program effectively can result in ongoing illegal activities that expose the company to FCPA violations. 2, prioritized post-acquisition investigations. Post-acquisition investigations are a crucial step in identifying any undisclosed or ongoing corrupt activities within the newly acquired entity. The Deere case highlights how important it is for compliance professionals to conduct thorough investigations after the acquisition to ensure that any risks missed during pre-acquisition are uncovered. And then always remember to act swiftly on red flags if they appear. Perhaps the most critical lesson from the Deere case is the importance of acting quickly when red flags are identified. In the Deere case, the acquired entity had numerous warning signs, including operations in high-risk regions, dealing with government officials, and a lack of robust internal controls. However, these red flags were not addressed promptly, allowing the illegal activities to exist. When red flags are identified, launch a formal investigation. Take corrective action, including terminating contracts, and, if appropriate, notify regulatory authorities. Always remember the DOJ safe harbor favors those who self-disclose. This is not simply in any other type of FCPA action, but the M&A policy has this safe harbor, so utilize it. As I said in the opening of this podcast, this month's sponsor of the entire Compliance Podcast Network is Ethico, and they've developed a toolkit for middle managers that will help middle managers in intaking information from employees and, equally importantly, understanding how to respond and how to get the information up to compliance for the decision makers. We've linked to this toolkit in our show notes, so check it out at ethico.com. This is Tom Fox again. This new podcast, Compliance Tip of the Day, will appear daily. And frankly, it's one of the most requested topics for a podcast that I get on a regular basis. It's going to be short and sweet with one tip with some takeaways that you can utilize to implement into your compliance program. If you've got a question that you would like a tip on, please submit them through our website, and we will use them in an upcoming episode. The Compliance Tip of the Day is a production of the award-winning Compliance Podcast Network. Finally, this podcast contains promotional materials.